After decorating the house, you will discover many problems. Let me explain. The drawer of this TV cabinet, after opening it like this, there is no support inside. Also, the sockets below are useless, isn't this a waste? And these rebounders, sometimes they don't bounce open. I feel these rebounders are the worst things. All of them are rebounders. This air conditioner vent, right after it was installed, the cabinet door couldn't open because the dimensions weren't done correctly at that time. Later, I had to grind it by myself. Then, it could open. Otherwise, it wouldn't open, it got stuck. I also had a headache. This window, this curtain on one window isn't in the right position. Here, a curtain on this window isn't properly positioned, and now it's like this. It can't be opened, so it can only be opened halfway. This window on this side is the same because it can barely be opened, just barely. Anyway, it's like this. It's not very convenient. Here, originally, I planned to buy a combined washer and dryer for this area, one washing machine and one dryer. But the dimensions weren't planned well. Later, when buying the washer and dryer, I found out the dryer couldn't fit. So I had to buy an all Jan 3 in Jan 3, one washer Jan 3 dryer. And this cabinet wasn't done well. Originally, I wanted to make a cabinet. Later, I decided not to make it. I was afraid of problems. This clothes rack originally was outside here on the ceiling, and the dimensions were given by the factory. I left the space according to the factory's dimensions, but the space was too large. The installer came and said, "This won't work." I said, "What about the dimensions the factory gave?" Then there was no way. Later, I had to buy a supporting rod. Then I had to call a worker to install it. They charged a lot to come and install it, and it made me really worried. It's a headache. This can't be considered hidden. It looks ugly. This clothes rack is really troublesome. You can't hang too much, you can't hang too much weight either. But I wanted it cheap, and now it's not good for hanging clothes. This bathroom, I initially wanted to make a diamond shower, and then the worker who laid the tiles installed the floor drain. Then the water doesn't flow into it. It all gathers in this corner. Then I went crazy. Every time after showering, I have to use a scraper to scrape the water into the floor drain. It's better not to do it at all. But since I did the floor drain, why doesn't the water flow in? This bathroom, I initially wanted to make a niche. But what happened? The worker made this. Is this a niche? What is this? And the water inside the floor drain on this side doesn't flow into the floor drain. It stays here, stays at this glass. Every time after showering, I have to scrape it away. Look at this wardrobe. It's hard to put into words. This woodboard feels like it's about to fall off. I'm going crazy. This room, originally, because it's too small, I planned to make it a children's room and make it a tatami style. When the workers were halfway through the project, they said they couldn't make it a tatami style. I don't know if they can't do it or what. And then it turned out like this. Now it's hard to find a bed because they made the cabinet just right for a 1.5 Geon 3 meter bed. After making the kick line, a 1.5 Geon 3 meter bed can't fit in. And it's impossible to put the bed head under this cabinet. So I never bought a bed. It's a headache. You see this, I'm really headache. You see this. This needs to be made into an arc. I also don't know why it was made like this. If the bed is placed here, the switch can't be turned on. It's not convenient. How do I deal with this? And this board below is not connected to the ground. It's hanging. The cabinet doors of this sideboard are also hard to explain. Originally, I designed it to be simple, but I chose a creamy gray color. I don't know if I was crazy at the time, and the rebounder for the cabinet door was also recommended by the worker who made the cabinet. He said the rebounder is good. I didn't use it before, I didn't know. Later, I found it was not convenient at all. After picking up things, you have to press it again to close it. Later, I directly removed the rebounder. I installed a handle by myself. I'm satisfied with the kitchen, but one thing I'm not satisfied with is there are too few power outlets. Just 2 outlets installed here. Actually, the space here is small, and there's not much space. Adding more won't help. But sometimes you need to cook, and you can only place an appliance here, and there's no room for anything else. The original design of the house wasn't good.